Hi y'all, this is Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart Readings. What's up, Divine Rebels? We are doing a reading today, a pick a card that is for conjurers. So whether you're a root worker, witch, wizard, whatever it is that you do with your conjure work, this is to check in, see if there's any workings or spell casting that you need to be doing. You know, what's your energy looking like? Any stylistic choices that you could be studying or letting go of, things of that nature. Are you being protected right now? Do you need to amp that up? All those kind of questions and concerns and interests that we have. Our options here is we have this black skull, we have Bat's Heart bottle right here, 100% pure, it says. And then this here is my 7 Seas storm water. It has some seashells and things in it. So, and I am going to also pick tarot and oracle, and I have songs for you guys that are specifically on the witchy energy that I channeled in. And one of them I didn't even know before. I just heard the lyrics and I was like, what? And so I googled it and found the song. And I have these little witches stones. So we made these little witching stones. I won't flip it over yet, but we just got some stones, black stones from the dollar store one Halloween, myself and the young relative, and painted with some little orange paint. So they're cute. They're all very, childlike. They painted on there and made some little witching stones with like witchy symbols on them. So I drew one of those each for you guys for each reading. And when I was getting ready for this, actually, I looked down and I hadn't seen these stones for forever, and I saw this little pentacle on the soapstone that I had and the witching stones, and it was just like very the mood of the reading. It was like rain. It started raining, but like a good rain where it's like cozy and you want to be inside. And then outside where I'm looking right here, there's like little buds, little red buds on these bare branches trying to start up for spring. And there was this big cardinal that came and sat in the bush, and it was just looking at me this way. And whenever I would talk to the cardinal, I even opened the window. It would just turn and look at me. So I was like, okay, if I go and get my camera and come back and that cardinal's still there, then I'll share it with you guys because it's for everybody, because I'm preparing for this reading. And young readers, I would really, if you are more kind of the intuitive psychic reader and you bring other gifts to your card readings, I would really pay attention to everything that goes around you when you're preparing a reading. The same thing with your spiritual work when you're doing if you're preparing for a psychic reading, or in this case conjuring, everything starts being a message and relating to your work. So I was like, okay, this is some good symbols here. We got the energy of the rain, we have this cardinal sitting here, and then my daughter came and she brought me the movie of my favorite book, so I'm going to share it with you guys, and it's Their Eyes Were Watching God. And this is by Zora Neale Hurston, who was a conjure woman herself. And the movie here is done by Oprah Winfrey. Halle Berry stars. It has, what's his name? I'm about to imitate him from Empire, Terrence Howard, and some other people in it. And she did a really good job. And it's been my favorite book since high school. So, there's certain books where they don't say the person's a witch, but you can just tell, like, they are. You know what I mean? And they just have that energy, that spirit of it that people try to beat out, and they have to free that and find themselves. And Zora Neale Hurston is actually very important to conjurers and to hoodoo work. She went and wrote about it and everything. And our dog, our witchy pup, and our little witchy pack, we call it, us girls over here are the witchy pack. She's a husky. She has a lot of black on her, more than typical husky, and she has her little blue eyes. And she was born on the new moon, the Scorpio new moon, right after Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. So this past year. And so her name is Zora. Her name is Zora Neale Magic. And like Zora Neale Hurston. So she has the Zora N. And Neoma means new moon. And then, of course, we got the magic with the K on the end. So it was just very significant to me that my daughter brought this. So I will be suggesting also DVDs and just anything. I'll put some videos on the timeline. Just, I'm like all sensory kind of person that can get you kind of into good vibes. And that's the one that came out for this reading, courtesy of Baby Magic. So, if you have your choice, we're going to do 1 is the Black Skull, 2 is the Bat's Heart jar, or just Bat's Heart, and 3 is it's storm water, or the 7 Seas water. I just call it my 7 Seas ocean water. ocean storm water, I don't know. Any of those varieties. And we're going to go ahead and get into this reading. All right, I'll see you soon. There should be timestamps below. I got better at that, didn't I? Yeah. Used to not timestamp for crap. All right, so here we go. For those of you who chose 1, this is a bat. Isn't it so cute? Look, the baby painted it. It had, not my baby, my another family member child. Okay, so this is like the little head, and these are the wings. Okay, and that's just a little spurt. So it's a little orange bat on the black stone. So you've got bat for your witching stone. And then we have, I do want to show you guys the backs of the cards just because a lot of them have different symbols that might connect with you from different traditions, right? So we have this, your song is Whatever Lola Wants, which is a very witchy feel to it, by Sarah Vaughan. And so here's the backs of all the cards in case you need to see a significance of your symbolism. All right. Okay, now let's flip these over and see what we're getting into. We have the Page of Cups. Yes, we have the Whatever Lola Wants. We have the Queen of Wands. 9 of Cups reversed. The Hermit. The Sun reversed. The Moon, but in the Normand. Thunderbird tracks. And then it's interesting because from the Sacred Places, you got Thunderhead with the Thunderbird tracks, but you got it reversed, and so we'll talk about that. Reconciliation. Okay. Here we go. All this energy, what do you got? So if you've been working with solar energy a bit more, I do see you moving more into lunar energy or needing to correct the solar energy that you have. Some of you might need to kind of do both of that. So whether you're someone who works the days of the week, and so you work, Sundays and Mondays are different meanings for what workings you would do. Maybe you've gotten more into one than the other. We have reconciliation here, so you might need to kind of reconcile those energies. Some of you might be working with solar deities and lunar deities. Maybe one of them is just easier for you, and for most of you, it's going to be the moon energy is easier to work with than the solar. That could be something to reconcile here. And part of it is because it reflects back to the energies that you work with personally. So we have fire and water. We definitely have Aries and Pisces energy here, but could also be Cancer, Scorpio, Leo, or Sag. We also have Virgo energy here with the Hermit. All right. Some of you might have people that are asking you to do this work, or you might be trying to do it for yourself to renew relationships and to actually reconcile people after a time of being single. And, some of you it's just to reconcile yourself to the dating world and get back out there. And like, man, how do I do that again? And you might want to kind of enchant yourself for someone else to be more alluring, or to be a little bit more brave and asserting their feelings and kind of putting that message out. We have the bat, which is about echoes, sending out signals and kind of foreseeing things in a way that we're kind of communicating with our future steps, basically, and seeing what's excuse me, my voice is really going from this weather change. Seeing what's like bouncing back to us, right? Now we have the 9 of Cups reversed. So I do see disappointment. Maybe you built up this energy and you had thought that this connection would be really good. Some of you might have even done like a love spell or an affection kind of working on someone, and then you broke it because you were like, no, this isn't going right. I'm just going to go back and be single. And now it's like, oh man, I kind of want to start that up again. So it could be some of that energy like that. Now, there is a little bit of warning about find balance with your ego energy. Some of you might be worried about that. Like, am I doing this for the right reasons? Because I definitely see a lot of you are like, man, I want attention. Like, I need to get this attention. I want to feel empowered, but you got Whatever Lola Wants. And it's so funny because I'd forgotten that for a moment. And in that song, she's like, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And little Lola wants you. And she's just like, make up your mind to have no regrets. Resign yourself. Recline yourself. You're through. Right? She's like, I always get what I came for, and your heart and soul is what I came for. Right? So she's literally snatching souls in that song, and that's an old school song back, way back. So this song is, some of you are like, that's it. And I do have a little bit of that "Ain't Too Proud to Beg" kind of song, but in an empowered way, where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I've been sitting here like, oh, I don't need. Oh my gosh, that cardinal's back. Can you see it? I don't even know if you guys can see it right there. I don't know how to zoom in, but there's a cardinal in the first bush of the 3 right there. So, and it's just like looking. Look, it just came back for the reading. When I set this up was last night, like before yesterday evening. That's awesome, right? And we have our little cardinal here on the little altar space. So that's awesome. That's beautiful. So, and there is a little bird messenger right there. So some of you working with bird energy, bird, totems, fetches, or something like that might be significant to you. It might be something you already have on your altar. Again, we have the messages, the communication here. So I do feel a lot of you being able to kind of spiritually or magically project certain messages that you want to convey, that maybe you don't feel like it would be good to do directly. All right, some of you are empowering yourself to speak what you want, creatively or magically, and some of you might be doing that communication behind the veil. All right. It's definitely a lot of empowerment though. So I see a lot of you doing empowerment and attraction, or emboldening your own energy. And this is a really good way to do it, is to draw it from within yourself. Like that's the key to do things, is to work with energy you already embody and amplify it. And that's what I'm seeing here. So this person is, there's one person that's taking, I almost see this as her embodying energy from all her different past lives and pulling it into one, or her deciding which aspect of herself she really wants to work with and pulling all that energy and focus into that one aspect of her so it really gets its shine on. So that could be something that you're working with. And how interesting, there's a yellow dress here, yellow dress, and we have the sun energy. So some of you really will be working on your solar plexus energy, if you understand what chakras, or that core sense of self that is both powerful, childlike, but mature and strong and commanding, and putting that forward as just like the root of your power. She does have a wand. Some of you will be doing wand work or using some kind of item to direct your energies. She also has what could be lilac there. So if you did the spring equinox reading, one of those readings, I won't tell you which one, did get lilac in that reading. And so there's also a song called Lilac Wine that both Nina Simone and Jeff Buckley sing. I love it. And it's about getting heady by this lilac wine and where's your love at. And so it's just, you could use that song in head working, some of you, because you're communicating messages from the far, and you did pick the skull. Some of you would be doing head working on others. So if that's your thing, you will know. But I see a lot of you being like, man, I just want to feel empowered. We have Thunderbird energy. We have I want to feel empowered and full of self-confidence and self-love, because we have the Nine of Cups reversed. Like, man, I'm not getting what I want, but I realize, even though you got whatever Lola wants, I realize that I can, but I have to kind of reconcile with myself first, and then I'm going to be, this bad mama jamma that can do what it do. So there's that Hermit energy. Now, also, this says that you have a lot of personal observations and studies that your spirit has learned. Probably why I get that feeling of calling in energy from your past lives and manifesting them now. It's all about directing a wide range of energy that you have into one focal point. So maybe you have a lot of paths that you've explored, or just like a lot of talents, or even a lot going on your altars or things of that nature. And it's about focusing in kind of that echolocation to one area that you just want to build on. And that could just be that your own energy, just working to get that the way that you want it to be, right? So if you think of like celebrities, especially like the old Hollywood and Hollywood ones, that's what they would really work on, would be like building the specific like glamour of an image, so that others would just be like called to them. They would just beckon others with their energy, this glamour that they had, and they would learn to just build that up inside of them into a real energy field, not even just like a character or an alter ego. And so some of you, it's like building up this energy of self, but it's one that you're going to reconcile with yourself. It's not like, oh, I'm going to build up another personality, or it's not going to be, so maybe you've been able to like, yeah, I can throw out and have this seductive side, but it doesn't feel like me, or it's, I lose it. So this is doing it from the inside out, right? The Hermit shows that you guys might want to go ahead and take like a certain class for something, or in some way study things. Mostly it's going to be very solitary, so just taking out the time to kind of go back to things that you already knew and make sure that you're learning them at the wisdom level. But I do see some crone and I don't know what it would be considered, father, or the gender doesn't matter, but the elder energy that's here. So it could be good also to go back to the roots of the traditions that you are and study kind of the old time energy of whatever it is that you conjure. All right. Yeah, so your sacred space is really up in thunder energy right now. Thunder and lightning, which is a good mix to me of like lunar water energies and like fiery sun energies. That's where you can get a lot of focus. So when you're doing workings, when you're imagining things, when you're empowering yourself, listening to thunder and lightning cracks could really help. This is also like this lightning rod, it looks like that she's holding with that wand, so pulling down that energy and working with it. I would definitely collect like storm water when you're doing that, if it applies to your tradition at all. Let's see. Yes. Oh, and thunderclaps are also very good for clearing energy. So, and even just like clapping, some people have different rituals that they do clapping and like noise clearing of things. And you do have a thing with noise and communication and just sound waves that is like you're very affected by that. Some of you might even have clairaudience, but what you communicate out energetically, like the words that you speak while you're doing workings, are very are very powerful. They can be empowering, but they're very powerful. So that's why if you're doing head work, you're getting into, you're communicating to someone else's spirit or mind or things like that. It's very powerful, and that's why it's like whatever you want you get, because you have this energy of like the bird messenger or the bat that's doing this. But with the bat, it is kind of the warning, not the warning, but just like, hey, make sure it's something that you want to get into though, because one, your thing is that you're trying to learn how to build your energy bigger. So that's one of your tasks, is how to build big energy and direct it in the right way for yourself without getting too nebulous with it or ambiguous with it and getting exhausted, right, and doing too many things at once that aren't fully formed or full-fledged, which is why the Hermit's like, okay, let's go back and maybe find different practices or more direct ways to do this. We might have other ways, like for instance, there's like, if someone's talking shit, there's like 1,000 different ways to shut them up, right? There is. So it's kind of like that, like, yeah, you might have one way that has been really good, but is there a way to do that that is more emboldened, maybe something that's more powerful for you? It will connect more directly with you. Okay. And also the bat, uses its sonar to not run into walls and stuff. Like, so it's kind of like energetically pay attention to, like, as you're becoming empowered, witches that are really empowered know when not to mess with someone else or not to mess with the situation. And it's not out of fear. And I think that's the thing. There's been like a lot of fear kind of energy and like, oh, and it's not that. It's just like, when you throw, like a witch always knows, or, I'm just using the term witch generally. You might say bruja, you might say root worker, whatever. Conjurer, that's what we're going. Conjurer will always know when someone else is trying to conjure them, right? You'll also know if you feel some bad juju coming from someone, you can kind of bat sense, witchy sense, conjurer sense, tune in and say, is this someone that I should reverse this back to, or does this person already have things, set up? And if I reverse this back, it's not going to be good for me, and I should just find a different way to get rid of this energy. That's even if it's in defensive, right? So it's kind of like having that wisdom. And as you're becoming empowered and more direct, and to be able to focus more so that you don't even mess with things that would be too messy. You're avoiding running into walls and things. Now, interestingly enough, number 2 had Bat's Heart as the pick thing. So you might also listen to number 2. All right. But everything is like birds, you know, in the air, all that kind of thing for your imagery or any animal connection. All right, so I hope this helped and gave you some ideas and promptings in your working here. And I will see you soon. Let me know what you thought. You can like, share, subscribe, and comment. A little bat. All right, let me, where is it? This, okay. For those of you who chose number 2, I had to prop the little skull for that, is bat heart right here. It's empty, don't worry, there's no little bat hearts. And you got, your witchy stone was the black cat, which is painted in orange here. Isn't it cute? Right. And so here, I'm showing everyone the backs of the cards because a lot of these have symbols on them, and it might just connect with you. That one wanted to, being greedy. No. The witch song. This is the pile that I didn't know this song, and I just heard it when I was channeling in which song, you know, would be good. And so this is a very fun, it sounds like a Disney villain character. She took some different melodies from like those kind of songs and things, and it's just a very interesting song about someone being basically fed up about being like hit on and bothered. Like, it's like where you have such good like seductive juju that you're just tired of it. Look at you, got the Lovers reverse. Like, you're like, I'm tired of it. Ace of Pentacles reverse. And it's just very funny. She does also, oh, this is why I'm realizing now why this connects with number 1 too, because we talked about thunder and lightning in that one, and in the song she's talking about the lightning bolt or the light bolt. So yes. Yeah, you got the sun reverse too. That's so crazy. They did number 1. So I think a lot of people are just going to watch 1 and 2. 4 of Wands. I'm sorry, let me say what we got. The fight card, Kalanish, sun reverse, boundaries. Yes, right? The boundaries that she's talking about in that song. What? Fish. And this is Lenormand, the fish. We have the 6 of Swords reversed and the star reversed. There's Aquarian energy, definitely. We have Gemini, Leo, Aries, and Earth sign energy here. We do have a fish, so there could be Pisces. So a lot of energies here. It's so funny. We have boundaries and fight with like the Lovers reverse and the 6 of Swords reverse. You know what? And we have the star, which is very networking energy. But we have swans here. And they have both black and white swans, and these swans are very good at like representing relationships and love, and this could also be in business. So what I'm seeing for a lot of you guys is you are good at doing magic and conjuring that helps protect people who are leaving abusive relationships. So if that's not something that you have gotten into or something that you've taken upon your heart, and this is one of the old school like the night women, the conjurers, the root workers, this is something that would be required of, you know, magical healers in their community, is to protect the innocent. And I think with all of this trending of like, you know, fake witchcraft and appropriative witchcraft and shit, that people don't think like that. Like they're not necessarily community based. They're not you know, taking care of their own around them and things like that. And that's why people used to seek out the magical healers in their most difficult times when they really needed help and aid. And I really am seeing that too. People who can't escape from abusive situations, or, you know, it could be in their own home, their own marriage, and they really need support to move forward. They might need to know how to start their own business or get their own money so that they can, you know, become empowered and leave a situation that's been very toxic for them. You guys really do have the gifts to give them magical support. Now, of course, this never substitutes, but I'll tell you what, this is something that I've done for many people, and it does help. There are ways you can cool down people, right? You can throw an abuser in the freezer and cool them down enough so that you can get help. You can make it so that people start recognizing that abuser's tendencies, and they no longer have that social glamour and gaslighting that they have, but they start being seen for who they are. You can empower a person to know, like, to have fight in them, to, you know, feel like they are worth it and valuable, to stand up against people who are harming them. And you can help them, you know, connect the bond with their child, and so, you know, to put that to the forefront of their mind. So there's a lot of things like that I see here. you might really do a lot of workings for breaking connections and for putting up boundaries and protection around people and really protecting people. So some of you are going to be like, yes, like that is what I'm passionate about. Like when I see on the news someone hurt with someone, I just want, like, I get this energy. It's like pouring out my hands and, use it. We need to have that, just like it's okay to, with our mouths, tell someone, hey, step off. You need to give me space. You better watch yourself. Like, don't treat me that way. Or just like it's right to physically protect ourselves if someone breaks into our house. Like, I don't know, it's such a brainwashing that comes with like colonization and stuff, that we can't protect ourselves spiritually and magically. Like, that's crazy. Like, we're supposed to just let people abuse us and not do something just like we would if someone was beating us up, to protect ourselves and defend ourselves, right? So that is like, I'm getting all this energy feeling in my body, like, yeah, like I'm hyping up for a fight with this one. Like you got the bat's heart, and I love that it says it's bat's heart 100% pure, right? So people demonize bats, but I think they're sweet and they're cute. And actually, when I was pregnant with my baby, I saw a mama bat and a baby bat, and they would fly around our porch. Now bats do show big transformation, and so hopefully 1 and 2 are listening to each other a little bit for the parts that relate. They can show big transformation coming. So this might be a big change for you. And in this song, it sounds like a Disney villain song, but it also sounds like a song where you're empowered and you kind of agree with her, where she's just like, she's like, I'm tired of it. Like, you follow me around, all these people are in love with me. And then she goes a little dark. She's like, I could cut off your limbs. I could do, like, she starts getting a little crazy, right? But if you've ever been catcalled to death, you know what that feels like. We have the black cat, right? The black cat is very lucky too, which is, it's not a scary thing, a bad thing. Black cats walk between the realms and can be, they can be a little tricky sometimes, but they help bring good fortune and good luck. So some of you could actually do, black cat candle or working, if that is in your tradition and you know what I'm talking about. We do have cat energy. We have jaguar here. It could also be like a panther. It could relate to any of those, like jaguar, panther, or leopard. That is very like, shamanic even energy, jaguar. And it's about ceremony. And yeah, you put that energy on when you're ready to tear up some ass. Like, that's when you would call in a lot of traditional ceremonies in jaguar energy. Like, stuff's going down. Like, you don't mess with that. It's serious, powerful, transformative spiritual work. And I do see people coming to you when they need like a transition period in their life, where they're like, okay, like, this is it, like I need that push. And I still see you having like I said, this is kind of cutesy song, even though it's like, she's being badass at the same time. And here we have the 4 of Wands. So you might still, have that kind of, come in, baby, sit down, have some tea. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, super scary, but she got the apples there. So she could give a bad apple. She could be a bad apple, or, some sweet apple cider if she wanted to. Let's see. You might be good at helping people recover debts, or if they're not getting payments. I also see that you might help people if they need to breaking habits. So if they need to break the habit of being like this disillusioned gambler or something. And I don't know who's watching. Someone must have a problem with that, because I've had a lot of readings where that's been like, I felt that energy is like, stop gambling. So somebody, I know some people do it for fun, but somebody I think has an issue with it. So be encouraged to, this could be your sign right here, and I just got the little spirit goosebumps, that use magic to aid you. These things really do help if you do spiritual vows with yourself, or you do workings. It can help give you that boost and that energy that you need, and that support energetically, mentally, spiritually, to get on a good path. Okay. And that's what you guys do. You help people that are stuck and, not feeling like they can do it, get on a good path. And we have the sun glyph right there above his head. We have the sun here as well. So you do shed light on people. You help people like come back from dark times. And I think that's a beautiful thing to offer them. But you're also ferocious. So you're that person, they're like, man, probably going to hear about myself, but let me go over here to this conjurer and see what they got to say. I know they're going to help me out, but they're probably going to tell me about myself, and then they're going to let me know it's going to be okay, you know. And I think for you, it's good to just accept that about yourself and embrace all that energy, kind of like the black cat. They're a good energy, you know, but they're also very taboo to people. Same with the bat, right? And just be okay with owning that energy there. Now, I see some of you have been wanting to start like a business with your working, and maybe so far it hasn't been going well, and maybe it's just because of finding these niches. Also, it is, a lot of you do have to put boundaries with who you do work with, because energetically you can be all over the place, or you might have people who are friends with you just because they feed off of your energy, even if they don't know consciously that it's magical work. Maybe some of them do, they're just always needing magical work, but some people might just constantly, you know, the negative side of this could be people who even stay in messed up situations because they know you're going to use all your focus and energy to help them get out of it, right? So they're being more careless in their lives. So that could be a little, you know, sign for you guys to put those boundaries, put your foot down. Also, you know, make sure you have your magical boundaries. I know, like, it can get tiring. You're like, man, I always gotta put this protection on my house, always gotta do the, you know, but, you know, do that for yourself, because you can feel it when you don't. And here we have boundaries around the home and the home being protected. Don't just let anybody be coming into your threshold or accepting any energy in there. Make sure you keep yourself protected, okay? And in your sacred spaces. That's why we have the loving energy of swans here in the sacred spaces, even if people are different. So it's not that you have to not let people in who are of different paths. Actually, for a lot of you, I think that's the key, is that those of you who are concerned about some love work, I think that's where you might be like, man, why am I not, I'm doing some little love work on myself and it's just not been coming to fruition. I feel like you need to broaden your spectrum, because the person might be very different from you than what you've done. They could be a different nationality or race or spiritual path in a way, but they're all building the sacred center here, and they're both swans at the end of the day. So all right, keep that in mind. But you do have good energy for business or helping yourself get out of a financial rut using your work, and to bring that fight, you know. And I'm like hearing that, hey, ho, let's go. Like, hype yourself up, okay? So let me know how this resonates with you. I'm wishing you guys the best, and thank you so much for those of you who have the tenacity and the heart to go and help other people out of tough situations and be there for folks and look out for the vulnerable in your communities and around. That's a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate y'all. All right. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. A lot of my views, so we can look at analytics, are coming from like people searching the videos or from direct links. So I really appreciate those of you. And I'm sorry for whoever's not getting notifications. I know sometimes YouTube has these issues like that where people are like, I'm not getting your notifications. But I do thank those of you who are sending out links and stuff. Like, that's awesome. So now we have those of you who chose number 3. Yeah, we got the apple. So there's bits of messages, I think, for everyone and like all of these, because we just talked about apples in number 2. And we talked about storms in number 1. So some of you might just, you know, want to watch through several of them, or you might have different questions for different workings that you're doing, and that could be why. All right, so there's seashells and some other stuff with this cleansing ocean storm water here. All right, so I'm going to show you the backs of the cards like I did for everyone else, just in case any significant symbolism jumps out for you that resonates. And your song was Crystal by Stevie Nicks. And this song is actually in Practical Magic. It's the song that is played when she is trying to do an anti-love spell, and she actually ends up calling in a very specific soulmate to herself. So, and in that song, Stevie Nicks has, you know, part of it says to the sea, to the sea, to the sea, and it's talking about this magnetic pull, this pull that was magnetic and like a hold on her that led her to the sea. So a lot of you are sea witches. You might be water signs. This is a card of Cancer right there. Could be Pisces, Scorpio, and you just need to be by the ocean or do more sea magic and ocean magic. We also have the apple, which is very powerful because when you cut it halfwise, it has the pentacle in it with the seeds. And the apple is sacred to a lot of love deities like Aphrodite, who is from the sea and the foam. And yeah, love magic, especially, you know, doing different intentions and showing that pentacle before you use the apples and you're working, can be very empowering. Now I'm seeing a lot of people here. Let's see what's going on. We have King of Wands reversed, the Chariot, Queen of Pentacles. All the decks will be below as well. These are all conjuring type decks, magical, witch decks, all that kind of thing. We have the Emperor. All these people, look at, we have the Crossroads. Is this called the Crossroads? It's the Lenormand, 22. I can't remember if it's actually called Crossroads. We have full moon, all right? So you have full moon and all this sea energy. We have Medina. Look at that. Off with his head. We have bees on there. And we have pilgrimage. So for some of you, it's literally to go to this place, Medina, because this is the Sacred Sites Oracle. But I do feel that traveling, you have Crossroads, you have the Chariot. Oh, gee. All right. And we're talking about to the sea, to the sea, to the sea. So some of you that have been wondering, yes, it's time for you to travel or move or go to the sea. It could be someplace in Europe that you're traveling. We have Medina here. It could be someplace in Greece. It's just time for you to go and to do it. There could be an island. Practical Magic, they're on an island. So she called this dude not just to the ocean side, but to the island, okay? I see a lot of career concern here, okay? We have the Chariot, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Emperor, and the Seven of Wands reversed. So you might really want to put yourself out there, put your steps forward, and like, okay, this is it. I need to make a decision. Am I going to let myself be really successful? Am I going to use, you know, what I know how to do to get there? Or am I still just kind of want to be in the shadows, right? The King of Wands reversed is a little bit of wanting to be behind the scenes still, being a little nervous about jumping out in front of things, maybe being more comfortable at home, because look at him. He's like sitting at home with his fire. Like, man, I'm famous right here. I know me. It don't matter. They don't know me. I know me, right? So there could be, your confidence could be tricking you into a false sense of security, all right? Now we also have the Seven of Pentacles. So yes, some of you have been waiting, and you have to see, okay, has it been helping me to wait all this time and not get out and do what I need to do? And this does remind me of a reading that was in the spring equinox where we talked about, okay, come on, you got to get back out there now. It's time, because after the full moon, right, you got to come back and go to the new moon, right? So, and full moons are releases. They're also very powerful energy, right? It's the culmination. So a lot of you are at that point where you're evaluating all the fruits of what you've done, or all the results, or all the consequences of what you've put in. And now, you know, it's going to be a change. We have the Chariot with the Crossroads here. You like, your life is moving one way or another, so you don't want it to move forward without you. Now, opening roadways, bam, that's it. So if you're doing doorway or road opener work, that is your stuff right now. That's where you can be really, really good. So connecting with deities who hold the crossroads in your tradition, the keys to the crossroads, that kind of thing, that could be good. And this could be ones who are even more solar or more, you know, nighttime, it doesn't matter. And some of you I see needing to actually go, look at here, and leave an offering at the crossroads, okay? Because there we have a tree that's like a crossroads, and there's an offering, there's a little altar there. We have someone waiting at the crossroads for their altar, right? Waiting at this tree, waiting, but like actively waiting. And then we have the pilgrimage to there, and we have the people there, all these people here. So I feel like a lot of you might be blessed by several kind of beings who hold crossroads energy or different pathways, and it's time to kind of get off your rear, right? King of Wands needs to be proactive about his business, okay? And go and take care of things, because they're ready to help you. Like, boom, they're like off with his head and all this, like they're ready to. And look at, oh my gosh, there's that open doorway, okay? So you are definitely like, have the preparation that you need, and you have the fruits that you need to bring forth. And it's just allowing yourself to go, you know what this is like? This is like if you have a check at work and you won't go you won't go get it so you can cash it in, and you're just like, they know me, you know, I'm just gonna sit here at home, they know who I am. It's like, yeah, they know who you are, but you still have to come get this check. Like, what are you If you don't come get this check, there's like 4 different managers trying to be available for you, and you're gonna sit there and not come get this check. Like, what is wrong with you? I thought you needed a car. All right, some of you do in fact need transportation or have something relating to travel, right? Maybe you're walking, you want a car. You definitely have the ability to conjure that for yourself and build it up. I was just dreaming too about a white rabbit. My white rabbit passed away, and I had this very interesting dream. I had a white rabbit and a brown rabbit, and they passed away within a year of each other. They lived a long life though, but I had a dream that someone came and gave me another white rabbit, right? So that's very interesting. So where do white rabbits lead, right? Down the rabbit's hole, new pathways, new worlds. So whoa, that connects. And even if we don't always think that we see clearly, we have enough light to see by. Now, some of you, Emperor energy, you have people who are in power who think, I said they think, that they can block your path. All right, and it is time for you to take your conjuring to the head and to knock that out and to pull control in your life and to do workings that are like, no, like you're not an obstacle. I will not let you be an obstacle to me. You do not have power over my life. I run this, right? So let's just upright this King of Wands to give us that. Ooh, he does have a wand. Look, he's sitting there like, if I wanted to, I can handle this. Like, man, Pops, if you don't wave that wand and do some work. Over here, he's got a whole fireplace worth of fire magic. Hey, look, I could if I wanted to. Right? So let's do it then, right? Put that to work, all right? Or at least show someone who knows how. So that is where you should really get going on things. Okay, now I am seeing a little side story real quick of somebody who went to a magical worker to get work done, and now you feel like they kind of own your energy, like they're all in your energy, and this can happen, right? And sometimes you do have to help someone kind of take over their energy or situation when you're doing a working for them, just because they're like all over the place and they need that guidance and assistance. But some people will really take advantage of you saying, yes, you can work on me magically, right? And they just become like this larger than life force, or they just kind of make all the rules and get bossy and shit about your life, and you just energetically can't break that, and you start feeling like you don't know how to make decisions in your own life. And so this could be the time to sever that tie, or to do like releasing and cleansing on yourself too, right? The full moon, so that you can accept your own power as well. Like, it's good to have collaborators. You should, technically we should be able to go and get some work done from someone and trust that and let that be good and helpful, but not everybody's trustworthy. So really pay attention, even if you really like to help others out and stuff. And for a lot of you, it's time, if you're at this reading, you can be empowered yourself to do these workings, all right? You don't need to go, and I'm not saying don't ever work with other workers and conjurers, but I'm just saying that you don't want to bypass doing the work yourself, okay? Because that's what some of you are doing by putting it on someone else to do the work for you, even if you're paying them. If it's time for you to do work, it doesn't matter how many times they do it for you. Sometimes if your spirits are like, no, we told you, that's like, have you ever do you guys have siblings, and you ever try to get your sibling to go do something that your mama just told you to do? Like, oh, you can get yourself in trouble. You can think you can delegate that all you want. It doesn't matter. They might get some extra points for trying to help you out, but your parent is just going to be mad that you thought you could not do what they told you to do, right? So, and that's what some of you are kind of spiritually doing. Well, I'm just going to pay someone else to do it. No, it's time for you to learn your path, and that's why we have a parting of ways here. But you can be very successful, in taking care of things for yourself. So it is a lot about getting yourself stable, whether that is just being stable enough to go and do the travel and moving that you want to do, or, basically it's like your business and your health, and getting yourself back up and moving and functional and going is where you should really focus right now. Now, some of you are in the place where you are like, I'm my own boss, I'm owning this, but you're running into burnout. And so you might need to be a little bit more selective in your clients, or reevaluate if you're currently at the path you wanted to be. You might actually surprise yourself and want to get more, downsize a bit. You might be doing all these kind of workings for all these kind of people, and you're like, you know what? And I've done this a lot. So that's why if you're like, look at my numbers, like I will downsize, I'll remove people who aren't ethical to me, like clients and things. I will remove myself from peers that are messing in the community and not doing good medicine. Like, I will cut my own numbers. I will downsize everything. I will take a break if I have to, and then come back and build it up the way that I want. So some of you are going to be asked to do that, to kind of, right? They're like, cut it off. Cut off this energy. But you still have these little busy bees here. The name Melissa might be significant for someone with the bees there. Melissa means bee. Yes, so you'll still get there. And the thing about Stevie Nicks is, like, what was meant for you in that song is going to come to you. It comes to you like a magnet, right? So attraction, energy, attraction, conjuring, and magic, even using magnets within it. That song has a whole vibe. You might want to even go watch Practical Magic in that little clip where the song is, where she's pulling different things, and she's just going intuitively doing it, and releases it, and ends up bringing it to her. Now, some of you are afraid to get your success through your magic, and in that movie at the end, she won't okay skip forward a few seconds if you don't want to hear a little spoiler. A lot of you've been seeing this, right? So in the end, she doesn't want to accept this love from this man who shows up, who is just like strangely like all of this weird combination that she didn't think that could happen, that she made a spell about. And he says, you know what, I wished for you too, because she's like, no, it's just my spell work, it's not real. And he's like, no, I wish for you too. So what you wish, look at this dawn, the sun coming towards you. What you want wants you too, right? Places that are pilgrimage spots want to be pilgrimaged too, or things like that. People, these spirits want to help you get where you need to be. Your success that you're envisioning wants you to have it and be successful. So don't feel like you are lessening it somehow if you're doing some kind of magical aid to get you there. All right, and no one else's version of how they do magic, or subliminal whatever, this or that, taints how you do it, right? So you don't have to be afraid because someone did it wrong, or you don't like their path, or this or that you can't go and empower your life with it. All right, so I hope that helped. Let me know down below what you guys think, and I want to do a lot of these check-ins a lot with conjuring. I'm getting ready to put up a psychic one for psychics and just different things like that, and help us stay in the groove. All right, and full moon could be the time of like the month or the lunar scale. Phases could be what you really work with. That just bumped in my head. Or if you don't work the moon phases and cycles, it could be Monday, because if you work the days of the week or the hours of the moon. That's a little extra at the end. All right, so yes, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much for those of you who are sharing direct links. That's where I'm getting a lot of the views from. I appreciate it. Please subscribe too as well for those of you coming through, and I will see you soon.